TFA fam, how are you all doing? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good start to your weekend. It is Tom and I. We are back at you with the Week 10 prop talk. Tom, we had a good week last week. I finally, on the record, went more than 1 for 3. So I had 2 of 3. Let's go. It was a great.
I was proud of you.
You went fucking like 12 of 10 somehow. You just crush it every single week. You somehow do better than the ones you even put out. But there's a lot that I like this week. There's a lot of intriguing games, some good matchups, some high totals. So why don't you go ahead, give a little intro. If you're checking us out right now and you are not yet subscribed, please smash that subscribe button. You can follow me on Twitter at @CKutzerFF. You can follow Tom on Twitter at DynastyInfidel. Tom, go ahead and lead us off. Give us your first one, and then let's get into it, man.
Yeah. First off, we're doing some props. So if you guys have questions or anything, we'll kind of hit on that at the end of the show. So the first half of the show will probably be, that'll be devoted to props and everything. Questions we'll kind of hit up afterwards. But this is your, mandatory reminder to bet DK Metcalf's over every single week. This isn't one of my picks, but last week I said make sure you bet the over, and he hit again. So again, he's only had 1 week where he hasn't hit it still. His yardage went up a smidge. It was at 74.5. Now it's 78.5. Whatever. Doesn't really matter. He's gonna get 90 yards or so. So until the end of the year, when it's bumped up in the high 80s like Adams, then maybe it gives you some food for thought, but I don't think so. All right, getting into my actual bets. Miles Sanders coming back from an injury, over 82.5 rushing and receiving. I want to go with the combined yardage there. So his line actually opened at 54.5 for rushing at -112, and then 72.5 at -112 for his total. And that bumped up within a couple hours to 62.5. Now it's at -130. And then up 10 yards for his combined total. So that came out after the report that Lane Johnson was likely to play. So their line should be better. He should actually have some holes until Lane gets hurt in the first quarter or some shit, because that's what he does now. I think they could have played Miles in week 8, but they were smart about holding him out. Boston Scott had 82 yards combined in week 7 against the Giants. So we think Miles Sanders might be a little bit better than Boston Scott. I think so. Miles has hit 82.5 yards 4 out of the 5 games he's actually played this year. I like the rushing yardage. I like the combined. His, his fantasy points are at 14.5 points. I like that too, but the safest bet out of them is the rushing and receiving, because if he takes a screen, he can take that, a long ways for the big play. So give me the combined rushing and receiving at 82.5 for Miles Sanders.
I like it, and I like it so much. I'm actually going to stay at this game, and I'm going to go Evan Ingram over 41.5 receiving yards. You were just talking about the Eagles. I think that they are the healthiest that they've been in quite some time. I think they're going to be able to jump ahead in this game, and because of that, I'm going to Evan Ingram in the passing game with the Giants. I think maybe like one of the first couple weeks we talked about this and just like smashing any middle of the field receiver against the Eagles, and we got burnt. But I am returning to the well. I'm doubling down. The Eagles are giving up the 8th most receiving yards to tight ends, and if you look at Ingram's usage over the past 3 weeks, He's been getting the usage regardless, right? But if you look at what he's been doing in terms of his production as well, he has the most targets amongst tight ends over the past 3 weeks, 4th most receptions, 4th in receiving yards. He's 4th in air yards. Like I said, I just think that they're going to be playing from behind. The total in this game isn't too enticing. It's only at 44.5, but I do think that the Eagles are going to be able to jump out, and I think because of that, obviously, the Giants are going to be playing from behind, and the 41.5 for Ingram just seems a little too low, and he's hit the over on this mark in all 3 of the past weeks. So give me Evan Ingram.
No, I like that, because the Eagles, again, their defense, their passing defense against tight ends specifically isn't that good. And we did get burned a little bit, but that was because Claypool decided to have 4 touchdowns or whatever the hell he went off. We were taking Juju in that week, but yeah, no, I like that. The Eagles should get a lead, although that spread is only 3.5, which is a little bit odd, but I think they're getting healthy and they should actually take it. But we're going to move on. So last week I actually had some success with the first parlay I put out there. It was a I think that was a 4-player parlay, and they all hit. So that was delightful. So we're going to go with another parlay. We're going to parlay Kyler Murray and Justin Herbert both to get over 1.5 touchdowns. So they have to get 2 touchdowns apiece. So Kyler's at -200 and Herbert's at -190. So it doesn't pay out that great. So what you got to do is you take Russell Wilson. This is in DraftKings. He's projected to get, there's one that's over 0.5 touchdowns. So he has to throw 1 touchdown, and it raises the odds from 130 to 146. So it gets you a little bit of extra money there. And, if Russell Wilson doesn't throw a touchdown, then sweet Jesus, there's something going wrong. But anyway, we all know Kyler and Herbert have been lighting it up this year. I expect it to continue. Kyler has 2 touchdowns in 5 out of his last 6 games, and the one that he didn't have 2 touchdowns, he had 380 passing yards. Not bad. I'll take the odds. I expect that to be a shootout in Buffalo. I love that game, by the way, the totals in that game. So if you're going to take an over, I think that's 57, which I still don't even mind, but I don't dabble that much in the games these days just because, I'm going to go with the props. So I love Kyler to hit that, though, because I think there's going to be a lot of points in that game. That final piece there, Justin Herbert, he's got at least 2 touchdowns in his last 5 games. So Miami has been pretty good against QBs so far as like scoring touchdowns, but I think that's a bit deceiving. So they've only given up 2+ touchdowns to 3 teams. Those 3 teams are Buffalo, Arizona, and Seattle. Those are the only 3 teams that have actually had like elite quarterback play. So Justin Herbert, I think you can qualify him as being elite over the last 5 weeks, 4 weeks. He's lighting it up. So that's what I like there. I think Herbert's going to get the best out of Tua as far as, statistically. Who knows if, Tua is going to wind up beating Herbert just because Tua is winning ugly and Herbert can't seem to win many games. But 5 and 6 pick, I will take the 6 pick, Justin Herbert. I think he'll get 2 touchdowns, and I think you will make your money. So Kyler and Herbert, and throw in Russell Wilson there, parlay, make some money.
In that Miami game, I also like. I didn't write this one down to actually talk about it, but Devante Parker over 60.5.
Yeah,
I like that as well. Considering Preston Williams just went on IR, they obviously traded away Isaiah Ford. So, but a game I'd rather talk about that you mentioned briefly was that Arizona game, and I'm going to go with Christian Kirk over 50.5. The Bills are giving up the 9th most yards to wide receivers this year. Kirk has hit that number in 3 of his last 4 games. And over the last 4 weeks, over that same time period, Kirk is second on the Cardinals in both target and air yard share. Like this is we've seen that he's been hitting Kirk deep a lot as well. So Kirk could literally get this in 1 catch. Like he actually had, what was that 82-yard game like a week or 2 ago where he only had like 2 catches, but he went for 80 yards. So he's been getting the targets, he's been getting the looks. You had mentioned the total on this game. It has been bet up to 56.5. It opened up at 52. This gives Arizona an implied total of almost 30 points. Both of these teams are in the top 8 in situation neutral pace of play. Several teams have had multiple receiving options, whether it was receiver or tight end, go for 50 more against the Bills. So everything in this game is just setting up to be an absolute smash spot. Everyone's going to go bonkers. So inevitably, this is going to be like a total of like 38 points at the end of the game, but I don't care. I still like Christian Kirk for 50.5.
I don't think it's going to be a 38-point game there. I think the offenses are too good there. I thought about taking Hopkins as well. I thought about taking Kirk, but at the end of the day, I like the safety with Kyler there to just get some touchdowns because there is going to be some points. My last bet, I'm pretty sure I've talked about this guy a few times, and he has not let me down. We're going to go Devonte Adams over 89.5 receiving yards. That's at minus 106. So, Cody, I was talking to you about it because it opened up at like 83 and it was at minus 143 or something like that. So they moved it up 6 yards and they bumped it to minus 106. I'll take that all day. His receptions is actually 6.5 at minus 143, which again seems low. So I'll probably take both of them there. And then his fantasy points is 23.5, which goes to show you that Devonte Adams is going to probably score a touchdown or two. So if you want to take him to get a touchdown, then I think he's at minus 160 or so. I didn't write that one down, but the well is not run dry, so I'm going to go back to Devonte Adams. It might sound boring, but guess what? Boring makes some money. He's on fire right now. Last 3 games, 196, 53, and 173 yards. That 53-yard game, though, let's cut him some slack. He had 3 touchdowns. So I think he'll be fine. He's had 10 targets in the last 4 games since he came back. So we know he'll get volume. What we should really love, in addition to the volume, is the chunk yardage that Jacksonville gives up to wide receivers. We saw Fuller and Cooks both score touchdowns of over 57 yards last week. Jags have given up 26 passing plays over 20 yards and 6 over 40. They give up 12.1 yards per reception, which is the 5th worst in the league. Oh, here you go. Matt Bowen put something out. He ran through a bunch of numbers as far as coverages and everything. So the Jags actually lead the league in playing cover 1 man free, 49.7%. I think Adams might be able to beat a cover 1 with a man. If they don't change that, Adams is going to absolutely eat them alive. And we know Aaron Rodgers will just audible to something no matter what and just heave the ball up and just have Adams go get it. So that combination is just too perfect not to pick. Again, it seems boring because it's Devonte Adams going off again, but I don't really care. I want to make money.
Now, you brought this up pre-show, and the concern I had is the concern that Kevin Stille, I think it's Stille, that Kevin Stille has about the winds and the snow and the rain. But you basically said scared money don't make money.
Yeah, and the other thing, I'm looking at the Weather Channel. So our weatherographer, Kevin, says 30 to 40 mile an hour. I see 25 miles an hour on the Weather Channel, but guess what? I don't know if it necessarily matters with Rodgers' arm. So I'm going to go there.
I do think that it might not, like, this might be like one of the, because obviously we know Devonte Adams is the only thing going in that passing attack. Right. I do think it could be a case where I personally wouldn't have the cojones to do it, but you've been better all year with these props than I have just because of the weather. But I do think it could be a case where we see Adams go like 10 for 85 or something, just not having like the chunk yardage, because they are going to have to throw at some point. But that's this is like the first one you've done all year where I'm just like, I don't know.
So I thought about it, but it's just the sheer volume that he's going to get. When I've actually shied away from games because of weather, it's burned me. So I'm not going to do that. I think Rodgers has the arm to hit a deep ball in weather, and who knows if he's throwing with the ball. The other one I did really like was, I think, Aaron Jones over 3.5 receptions, and his total is pretty low as well at like 92.5. So I really like that. If you want a bonus bet, I'd say Aaron Jones over the total. I want the total on that, the rushing and the receiving. And I like the receptions for Aaron Jones too. So 3.5 seems pretty easy.
The last one that I will hold on, let me look up real quick on Aaron Jones. So on FanDuel, his rushing total is at 69.5, but that's at minus 142. His rushing and receiving is at 102.5 at minus 113. So
Okay, yeah. I'll look on DraftKings, but earlier I think yesterday, it was at 92.5.
So the last one I'm going to talk about here, we kind of mentioned this one in passing. Obviously, you brought up DK Metcalf. I do like Tyler Lockett in this game as well, but I'm going to talk about Bobby Woods, Bobby Trees. Our guy Robbie Jeffries, one of his favorite players coming into the year, but his total right now is only sitting at 62.5, and that's still like minus 110 the last I looked. So I'm going to I'm going to smash the over on that. I could literally just start and end this analysis with against the Seattle passing defense.
Pretty much.
And I literally think that could be enough. Like I could just stop there. Everyone would be like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Over 62.5. But just to make this short and sweet, everyone and their grandmother knows how you beat Jared Goff. It's with pressure, right? You get in his face, you get a bunch of pressure. Mm-hmm. Jared Goff can't do anything. You get him off his first read, whatever. Well, guess what? The Seahawks can't get any pressure this year. They're like they have like the 11th lowest pressure rate, but they're blitzing at the 12th highest rate. Like they just can't create any pressure. So just looking at that, it's a high game total. Russ is on the other side, so even if Seattle gets up, which I think Seattle could be looking at a little bit of a game script similar to last week where they're playing catch-up a bunch.
Okay.
But even with that, there's going to be a bunch of points scored. There's going to be back and forth. Like I said, the Seattle can't get pressure. This is going to look good for Jared Goff. And if you needed any other reason past the Seahawks are giving up 300 more receiving yards to wide receivers than the next closest team, both Shaq Griffin and Quentin Dunbar are going to be out of this game.
Yeah.
Giddy up.
Yeah, pretty much.
And also the additional one that I'll throw out that you were talking about, then we'll get to some of these questions here before we get out. Allen Robinson. I think this is like the Allen Robinson smash week that we've been waiting for. His over-under on FanDuel right now is 69.5 receiving yards. So going up against Minnesota, but I feel like, between DK Metcalf and A-Rob, they're the ones that we talk about every single week. So I didn't want to actually write him up, but 69.5 for A-Rob, and
so is that the Monday night game?
Yeah.
All right, so that's not even available yet on DraftKings, and I was looking for it. So the DraftKings is weird this week. Cooper Kupp isn't available. I was talking to you about that, and I was waiting to see
that is weird.
What the props were between Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, because I wanted to see who was more favorable. And it's, according to FanDuel, Robert Woods is more favorable, but I don't know why Cooper Kupp isn't available at all. It's kind of odd.
Yeah, that is weird, because I specifically looked earlier today because Kupp was limited earlier in the week, but he got a full practice in on Friday, so he should be good to go unless there's unless something's crazy happened over the past couple of hours. But let's grab some of these questions and we will get out of here. Ed Gala, bunch of numbers make you holla, wants to know redraft question: McKinnon or Gallman in the flex? Do you like McKinnon. Either? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
He's been getting more touches. I think is Freeman back this week?
No,
he's still not back. I know he was practicing.
I think he's out.
God, I mean, either way, going up against the Philly run D, it's the only thing that you guys are doing well on defense. I mean, Gallman has been playing well, but I'll still take McKinnon, his pass catching ability. He's been the one who's been leading in touches. Whenever we thought it was going to be hasty week, it was not. Yeah. Stephen Drake joins us in the YouTube chat. Needs two and a flex, full PPR. So who do you like out of Chark, Mooney, Kirk? Lock him in. Balaj, Moss, Breida. So need two and a flex.
I would say Chark on a normal week, but we've already talked about the weather there. I think Aaron Rodgers has the arm to make that work. I don't know if Jake Luton does. Probably not.
So we're locking in Kirk.
Yeah, no, Kirk is definite. I want to lean Zach Moss, but I'm concerned that script is going to be so pass heavy for Buffalo that he might not get a lot of action there. But I'm still going to lean Moss there.
How do you feel about Balaj this week?
I have no idea what's going on with that backfield, to tell you the truth. So, I mean, I do have an idea what's going on with the backfield, but I don't think anybody really does. Like, who knows what's going on with Balaj? If he's going to come out and actually look good again, if he's going to get touches. We know Justin Jackson's out, right?
Yeah.
So they have Balaj and who else they got right now?
Kelly.
Yeah. So who knows I don't know what's going to go there.
What about Matt Breida? I think he's questionable with that hammy heading in, but he was a limited participant in practice this week. What are your thoughts on him?
So not a lot. I'm going Zach Moss there because I think he's got the best chance to score a touchdown too. I think he's the safest option there. I think Balaj might have the highest upside, and then I think, but I'm not going Balaj there. I'll go Zach Moss. I'm not sure about Breida. His usage has been spotty all year, even when he's been healthy. So I don't know what they're going to wind up doing, even with the injuries that they have.
So we need a third one because we needed two and a flex. Are you throwing Mooney in for the other one?
No, I'd probably do Balaj if we need three. No, you know what? I would just take Shark because they're going to have to throw the ball. And he might get a touchdown.
Even with Alexander out, I don't know if I can go Chark in that with that weather.
Maybe
Steven,
not.
Steven, I'm gonna go
That's
Kirk. I'm gonna go Kirk, Mooney, and Moss.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going
there. That's fine.
Because Mooney's been getting the air yards and the targets. He's been looking good. If the Vikings can jump out to a lead, obviously it's going to force them to pass. So I do like Mooney, especially if you need someone that has the higher ceiling but a lower floor. Yeah. Alligator feet 11. Watson with a 30-plus mile an hour winds or Wentz. I think you just go Wentz there and play it safe. If it weren't for the wins, I would definitely say Watson. But I think with the wins, we saw it. If you've never been in Cleveland for a game with high winds, just howling off of Lake Erie there, it is absolutely awful. I went for a Steelers-Browns game 2 or 3 years ago with some of my cousins and my uncle, and we were sitting on the open end next to the lake. It just absolutely dreadful, like awful. So give me Wentz in that spot, especially going up against that defense. Gastro Boy, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, years ago, I went to a game in Cleveland. We drove out from Philly for Eagles fans, and we had seats right in the end zone in the first row. And after the game, my buddy decided to jump in the lake. Not a good call. But yeah, Carson Wentz there. He's getting some weapons back, healthy. Should have a good game against the Giants.
Gastro Boy needs a kicker. Do you like Sanders versus the Chargers or Carlson versus the Broncos?
Kickers are real people now, I guess.
Still debatable.
I'm gonna go Sanders, I guess.
We're gonna be of no help because I'm gonna go Carlson against the Broncos. I just think that game has a higher chance of more points being scored. So when it comes to kickers and two that are close like that, I'm just going to lean toward the offenses and the points.
I think Miami might have a tougher time punching it in. That's why I went Sanders there.
Makes sense. Pata YP. Would you trade away Anderson and Duke Johnson for Waller and Shepard? I would.
It depends on your need at tight end there, and your wide receiver depth, but yeah, I would.
Yeah, I like that trade in a vacuum for sure.
Yeah.
Gamer NXC PPR. Do you deal Terry and JT for D Hop? Lineup for the playoffs would be Burrow, Ridley, D Hop, Henry, Chubb, Kelsey, Crowder, 9-0 currently. Humble brag. So no worry for wins. And this is a 14-team league. So,
Oof.
I mean, the JT part doesn't really
it's basically
factor in.
McLaurin for Hopkins to me.
Yeah.
Which is sad. JT is essentially just he's depth, especially on that team. So you're not going to be starting him anyway. So it's McLaurin or Hopkins. And if I remember correctly, Hopkins has a really good playoff schedule.
And even if he doesn't, it's
Hopkins.
Terry McLaurin with
Washington. Who knows? You might be playing quarterback by then.
I hope not. I haven't really been peppering the old arm.
I think you'd like the paycheck no matter who hits you.
Dude, I don't know, man.
I'd take it.
Would it really be worth it that 1 week if your leg ends up looking like Alex Smith's?
Yeah. I'm already messed up enough. So, I mean, I'm going out there and I limp around as it is.
I'm just going to stand there like this.
Right. And then, the team has to pay you insurance and all that other jazz. Yeah, why not? I'll go out there.
Perfect. If you need someone, hit up Dynasty Infidel. Roberto wants us to grade the trade in a half PPR. Give Thielen and Ruggs, get Miles Sanders. So again, one of those cases where I'm not really factoring in Ruggs because even though we were expecting Gruden to be able to scheme him into this offense, I think Ruggs has had the highest amount of targets he's seen has been 5, and that was all the way back in fucking week 1, which doesn't make sense. But anyway, how do you feel about this in a half PPR? Do you want the Thielen and Ruggs side or do you want Miles?
Give me Sanders.
I knew you would say that, but I also agree. Good. Alexis season. Mike Davis against the Bucks or McKissick against the Lions?
I'll still go Mike Davis just because he'll get the volume in the passing game as well. That's a lot closer than it should be, though, because McKissick's getting so many targets. I'll still go Mike Davis, though.
Yeah, with no McCaffrey, Mike Davis has been playing well, so he's going to get all the carries and all the targets, whereas McKissick is just basically just going to get the targets. Gibson's going to be good to go after being limited earlier this week, so that is closer than it should be. McKissick has low-key been a really solid PPR asset, especially in deeper leagues, but I will also go Mike Davis there as well. Damani wants to know, assuming the wins stay bad, would you go Parker over D-Chark? D-Chark?
Yes.
Yes.
DJ Shark, DJ Shark, No, I'm not going Shark. I'll go Devante Parker.
One wide receiver in a standard league for Dave McKnight, AB, Samuel, or Thielen. Thanks, guys.
I will go Thielen. Curtis Samuel has been really good, though, huh?
I thought about talking about him. I think his line for this week is 47.5.
Yeah. It's low 50s or 47.5. I remember looking at it, and I was intrigued by that, but I'll still go Thielen there. I mean, AB, we can't really talk too much about it because
Thielen does not have a good matchup.
Yeah, but it's still Adam Thielen.
I mean, that hasn't accounted for much the past couple of weeks.
True, but divisional game.
Man, I wish this wasn't a standard league.
I know. Then it's I
mean, AB was he saw a bunch of snaps, ran a bunch of routes.
And then Arian said he wanted to pare down his snaps. I don't want him working that much. He said. So he had what 5 receptions. Or 5 targets. I forget off the top of my head. Whatever it was 5 something.
Man.
Come on, make a decision.
Give me Give me Samuel. Give me fucking Curtis Samuel. Fuck
All
it.
right, that's fine.
Going live.
Yep, we're live.
Karn is here. Always popping in. Appreciate you jumping in, Karn. Moss or Patterson or DJ in a full PPR?
I'm going to go DJ, I think, there, because Chris Carson is out.
We are being of no help. Kev, Kev, I see you still in the chat on some of these that we know that we've been splitting. Throw in your thoughts on some of these. But I'm gonna go Moss here because with Travis Homer coming back, DJ Dallas did not see the same amount of touches that he had been seeing when Homer was out. I think DJ saw 7 carries. Homer saw 6. Like, it's just a little bit too much of a split. I can't in good consciousness play Cordarrelle Patterson. So I will take Zach Moss there.
And that is very close to me.
Looks like you have some fanboys in here, Tommy.
I do. What can I say? I don't know who the Fly Eagles Fly one does, but yeah, Fly Eagles Fly, baby.
It's gross. Karn is debating on this one. Keenan Allen for D-Hop.
Hop.
You going Hop?
Yep.
My God. Lamar Miller on Monday night.
Oh, Jesus, Kevin. Stop it. Why is...
Well, looks like on that note, looks like we got all these. If you guys have any more questions, 33 of me jumping in. We'll grab this one, then we will get out of here. Dead in the water this week for running back had to hit the waivers, starting Gallman and Null. Which two would you play? Which would you play between those two?
Gallman.
What about one of the Chargers running backs? Looks like they're available on waivers as well.
Maybe Balaj there. I'd probably go Gallman just because the Eagles will screw something up on a screen and they'll get some chunks because they always do.
Yeah, there you have it, 33. Just so you guys know, we will also be going live in I fucked this up last week too. I think it was 13 hours. I think we're gonna be going live again for the Sunday show. Regardless, math is hard. We're gonna be going live at 11 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. Kev will be in here. Apparently said he's going to be entertaining. I've never seen it, but that's just me. We'll be live if you guys have any questions. If you can't join us live, make sure you drop a comment in one of our videos. We get the notification. We will answer you there as well. So until tomorrow, 11 a.m., like I said, if you can't answer the question, if you can't get on live with us, just drop the question in one of our comments. We'll be sure to answer it. So you can also hit us up on Twitter. The TFA handle is @FF_authority. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on the gram. Kev is there with his shirtless, taking his shirt off, just laying on the beach. Ugh. Just you know how they do it on the gram. That's
disgusting. Just disgusting.
Kev also has a TFA lower back tat, which is also extremely. If you put the right filter on it, it's super sexy.
It's the tramp stamp, TFA tramp stamp.
I mean, who doesn't want one? So anyway, hit us up on Instagram, on Twitter, and then you can find me on Twitter @CKutzerFF. You can find Tom on Twitter @DynastyInfidel. Until tomorrow, bye.